So 21, if my count is correct. Um, I just wanted to start this one with a very interesting study that I found recently. And let me just share the abstract from it. Um, this is a story that I added to the thousands of stories that we have cited on our blog and in the book. But this one is very interesting. They just chose some people to meditate about gaining some muscle strength and doing some exercises just in their head. Just visualize the exercises of how do you call that? Finger contractions, little finger abduction, and so on. Okay, so they had one group meditating on in enhancing the strength in their finger, another group doing it for real, so real muscle training, and a third group doing the same. And as you can already imagine, the group doing only the meditation got a good result, about 2/3 of what the group doing the physical training had. You get it? People just meditate on doing sports and they get the same kind of results. And they get a significant increase in electroencephalogram-derived cortical potential, which means that they have the same physiological effects than doing sport when they just imagine doing sport and visualize it. So this is just one study that really shows that if you do the work while you are meditating, you get the same benefits. And I think this is very promising, and this is one of the key to understand what we do with BioCoherence. So in regards to this, it gave me a little bit, yes.
I think therefore I
Therefore I
am.
am. Which is a French guy, by the way, Descartes.
Yeah, yeah.
Je pense donc
Of
je
course.
suis. Yes. At a time where everything interesting happened in France. It's not exactly the case now, but so it gave me some kick to enhance a little bit the test lists. And if you go to meditation and functional meditations, I've added some new items in it. So until now, you only had a care routine. I've added a few items in this list, like teeth care routine, gut microbiome routine, brain care routine, muscle training routine, which is this one. Sorry, digestive health routine, hair growth routine. These are just ideas that come out of my head. So if you want us to add more into this list, just send us an email or a suggestion. This list could have 50 or 100 different items. But I would very like you to add these items to your meditations and to your 21-day journeys and report if you have more success. I know, Dan, that you tried the A-Care routine with the 10-10 vision program that Christine did, and you reported that your eyesight was improving. So if someone tells me, okay, my hair is growing because I'm meditating on it, it's a very interesting outcome.
But
Digestive health and gut microbiome were made especially for people with Crohn or autoimmune diseases or intolerances. I'm sure these items are also things that could be balanced with meditations. Another point, because we are here, and I know you don't want to touch lists because you find it very difficult, but it's actually very easy. So I just want to stress how creating a list is easy. When you create a list, it can automatically write the meditation. So for instance, for muscle training, I just wrote the description. A meditation for muscle strengthening with visualization exercises to do, full body scan and muscle stimulation and work in a stimulating environment. Studies prove that meditation can lead to muscle gain with proper visualization and inner work. And I clicked on auto-generate and it created the text of the meditation. And then we can just translate it on our side and generate the voices. And the voices are now existing.
you're
Wow.
doing live generation now of the voices, or do you have to
No,
order
no,
them?
no, no. We don't do live
Okay.
generation because
All
we
right.
first need to translate it in several languages.
Okay.
So this is a process in several steps. we first have to validate that the meditation is beneficial for the user, because we don't want to publish anything that would be harmful to the user. So we have a first stage when we read it and we approve it, of course. And then in a few clicks, we can just translate it in all the available languages and generate the audio. But then you have another button, which is automatically detect actions. And in the latest update, we can now add any biomarker, which means that now for the meditations, we will auto-detect what are the organs that are related to this text, but also what are possibly the emotions or drives that are related to it. So for this one, we only chose organs. But for instance, for the impact questionnaires that I will talk about in a few minutes, you will have organs, but you will also have emotions. You see, it will increase courage, balance confidence, increase thoughtfulness, decrease letting go, decrease grief, and so on and so on. These actions are evaluated from the different items that are here, but you can, of course, tweak them by just clicking here on choosing a specific biomarker, just by picking the biomarker you want. These actions are needed for several things, and I just want to stress again why you need to create the actions. If you have an open report and you go to lists, you can click on the flower here. And when you click on the flower, you will get the same kind of results. Oh, I should have done it. We have 300 items here, so it will be a bit long. It will give you the same results that you see in the analysis. So you see there is a percentage of adequation. Let's enlarge it a bit. And you will see what of the different actions will be impactful or beneficial for the user. This comes from the actions that are defined in each of the items. So when you create a list, it can be a meditation, it can be a product, it can be a supplement, it can be a drug, it can be, I don't know, a yoga pose, it can be anything. You just have to specify in the actions what should happen when this particular item is chosen for the user. And what should happen is it should calm the nerves, it should calm the lungs, it should balance the heart, it should increase concentration, and so on and so on. So, and
Could you share your screen? Could you share your screen?
I'm sharing my screen. Maybe you have to click on screen shared on top of.
At the top of your screen, you'll see
On the
two
top of your
tabs.
screen, you have the option to switch between my image and the screen.
Okay, where am I? Oh.
And so for all of these actions, as soon as you have decided the action for this particular item, so again, it could be a yoga pose, for instance, and you can just say, okay, this yoga pose has the name Lotus, and this yoga pose should promote, I don't know, a better respiration, a better circulation, and so on. And the simple fact that you define what it does, it will calculate an adequation with the analysis that is currently open. So if I go back to the analysis, I have 1,000 biomarkers that are already calculated. So if I go to the lists, I can get a score of everything. And you know, I just have to open a list and I have this score of adequation, and I can even order by scan. So to get the best, the most interesting ones on top. This adequation is calculated for the individual scans that you are currently open. So if you have products that you like to, that you love to use, for instance, and you work with a maker and you have 30 different products, you can just enter these 30 different products and state their desired effect. And then you can just have in 1 second, just by opening the list, you will see what of this, which one of these products are really adequate for your user. So I think it's a very powerful function. When you create a list and you think it's useful for everybody, you can also make it public. And at that point, everybody can just have it in the list and download it directly here and immediately get the results. So this was about these new items and how to use these lists.
So Medrick, in
Yes.
that when you were doing the showing the screen down at the bottom, when you're putting in the description and stuff, down at the bottom, it said the keywords were 217 underscore stress.
Yes.
So
Okay. You
that
have a keen eye.
217 is Elfie.
No. It could be yes, but that's just by chance. You have a keen eye. This is a special field that you do not have access to because this is this list that I showed you, and I can show it again to you if you want. Is a list that I want to speak about now, which is questionnaire impacts. This is something absolutely new in the latest version, which is 1.23 and which is currently under review everywhere. So you can already download it from biocoherence.net/beta, and you will probably have it today or tomorrow on iOS, Mac, Android, etc. There are many news in this new version, but the most important news, I think, are almost 300 new meditations that are grouped in a weekly meditation, and that are linked to the questionnaire impacts. So for each of the impact, for instance, if you feel an answer for the DAS21, which is linked to stress, depression, and anxiety, if your answers are above a certain threshold, the system at the end of your answer will automatically add, for instance, the 7 days of stress related to the DAS21. And this has been designed as a 1 week long journey to cope with stress and to handle your stress, because when you answered the questionnaire about the DAS21, the dimension, they call it a dimension, I call it an impact. The impact was severe for you. So it means that the answer that you gave determines that you are high in stress. And these items who are linked to stress will be added automatically to your daily meditation. So this is 1 week, and you can have up to 3 weeks. So for instance, if you are high on stress, depression, and anxiety, it will add these 21 items to your meditation. On week 1, you will be focused on stress. Week 2 of your 21-day journey, you will be focused on your depression. On week 3, you will be focused on anxiety. And all of these weeks are meant to be a progression. Each day you will be remembered of the exercise that you did the day before, and you will expand on this basis. So I think it's a very good addition to what we do, because you see, there is a lot of new meditations. And this is just a start. This is just because right now we have implemented 7 questionnaires, and with these 7 questionnaires, we have about something like 50 different impacts. So for instance, you can get, and we also have the general balance if you don't have an impact. I will get back to that. So for instance, if you fill the SF36, which is the most common medical questionnaire, and you have a high impact on pain, you will have 1 week to work on it. If you have a high impact on social function, you will have one way to work on it. If you have a high impact on role limitation, physical or mental, etc., etc. But if you have no high impact at all, we can add a general week about general balance of the SF36 theme, because all of these questionnaires are linked to a specific theme, a specific focus. And that is the focus that is asked at the end of your meditation. Let me just show you that. I will just show you what you get at the end of your meditation. When you at the end of the recording, I mean, now with the latest versions, when you do a recording, you will be proposed with what is the main focus of this measure, and you have 6 items right now, and we renamed one into self-improvement. That is for you, Jason. But it can expand because it is directly linked each one of these category is linked to one of the medical questionnaire. So we just have to add some new medical questionnaires, and we already found a lot of very interesting medical questionnaires that could be self-fulfilled like that. And so we could have, I don't know, 10, 15, 200 medical questionnaires. And if we go to 200, we will have categories, of course. So you would just have to choose the main focus. It will ask you to fill the relevant questionnaire. And if you are low on every impact, it means you want to work on emotion, but you don't have a big problem on your emotions. You will nonetheless get 1 week to just work on your emotions because you said it is the main focus of this measure. So because you said it is the main focus of this measure, I think it's important that you get something about emotions anyway, even if it's not problematic for you, if it's just something you want to enhance. Okay, so if it's just something you want to enhance, you will have general balanced meditation about emotions. I think it makes sense. If we get back to the questionnaires, let me just remove that because.
Can I say something right quick?
Yeah, sure.
So this is great. Thank you so much. All the things that you've already demonstrated today will allow me to really take this head on into a group of athletes. You know, the thing that you were talking about in terms of the research regarding the neural load, I can contribute lots more research on that level. It's fantastic and very amazing what happens. And then as far as questionnaire, the questionnaire that I have is kind of built very similar to this, that the particular questions for the issues are contained within a box that relates to a certain area of brain function. So for instance, right here on this one, you can see that there's emotion on here, and there's also things like vertigo. This is a very balance oriented area of the brain, and a lot of things like depression and anxiety and things like that
go
hand in
probably
hand
something
with
that we could include in the app. That's a question.
Yep.
Yeah.
So exactly like you're building it now.
Yeah, just send me.
We can just dump all that right into what you've built today. So man,
the way we build the questionnaires is a very open way. So if you have some interesting questionnaires, either you send us reference, so just the name if it's a well-known questionnaire, or just the PDF if you have it, and so we can see if it's something interesting to integrate. The questionnaire serves 3 different purposes. One is to, or at least 2. One is to be able to assess your progress, because when you choose a specific topic like I just shown, you will do an initial evaluation, which is filling the answers immediately after your recording. And then after your 21 day, you will be presented the questionnaire again, and you will fill it again. And we can compare your state before and after the 21 day. And as these are official medical questionnaires, this is something that we can leverage on a medical field. We can say, okay, we have 100 users filling these questionnaires, and we have this kind of progress across the 21 days, so we can prove that we have a real medical effect.
Yes.
But this is one of the focus of the questionnaire. The second one is just for oneself. As soon as you answer a questionnaire, you have something more in your priorities, which I find is nice. And you have a specific journey over a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, which is related to the main theme of this questionnaire, which is the main focus that you chose after your recording. So questionnaires are very interesting for that. And it's an open system again. So if you have some specific questionnaires that are related to specific fields, I know last week you were speaking about self-improvement. And so I was, for instance, researching questionnaires about sports. And I found some very interesting questionnaires about sports. So this is something that we could probably include. So performance, in fact.
That's fantastic. And on that note, the one place that I had a request was that we fill out the questionnaire before the program, and then we go through the entire program. But it would be really great if we had a field that was just an open field, both that we could make comments
That's
before we
interesting that
start
you
our
say that.
meditation in the morning.
It's interesting that
And
you say
then,
that because, you know, I have thousands of papers like that because we always speak about the app and I'm always scrambling to write ideas. And one of the ideas here is journaling.
yeah,
Yeah, and
is
I want to add journaling in the next version. The ability
yes,
to just write everything that happens to you directly
yep.
in your analysis.
So
So when
like
you
a
open the
before
app,
and
you would have
after.
when you open the app, you would have a new function to just add a new entry. And when you add
Yep.
this new entry, you could just write anything, and you could maybe fill one questionnaire, which probably would be the VAS, which is just on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you? Yes, exactly like that. On a scale of 1 to
Yeah,
10, how
this
are you
is
physically? How are you mentally? And so on. It's just 6 questions. So it's very
yep.
quick to do. But this is something that it could also be a symptom tracker, you know.
That's what this
Yes,
is for daily symptom tracker,
exactly. So
along with the journal,
yeah, so
so that we can.
it's interesting that you speak about that because I had exactly the same idea 2 days ago to add a journaling function in the app and to be able to track symptoms and to track general well-being and to add some written comments. I was just thinking, is that something very private or is that something that you want to share with your practitioner and so on? So we have to, as always, think about privacy and what you want to share with the practitioner or not. So it will be integrated in a way that you can just write for yourself if you want, or if you want to share it with the practitioner, you could maybe do it. But I think it's a very interesting idea.
You just you you just sparked one more big idea that I'll just mention right quick, and then I'll be quiet. But
Great.
so I put a lot of information into a daily log. The log is called Chronometer. It basically does a very similar thing in, taking in the information that you're putting in and then breaking it down and showing you all the things that are happening, the changes in terms of your vitamins, minerals, and hormones and everything else. That and wondering if there might be a way to tie these things together so that the information from there or what we're putting in there might be something, I don't know, could there ever be a possible dietary or food log,
Yeah, probably yes.
coordinated through
Yeah.
and then those things could be, understood by the system and then incorporated into the information with the scan.
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot of just trying to reevaluate after I consume some particular food or do some particular type of movement for a short time, and then do very acute reevaluations. I had about 8 of them done in one day in a span of about 3 hours, and somehow I dropped it all. Like all the information's gone out of my scans. So I don't know what I did or what I touched that made it go away, but this is a really big add-on to all this for me. So thank you so much.
So on a general topic, I'm absolutely very happy to have suggestions like that. And it's even better if you can send me an email explaining the idea or maybe giving some references so that I can really think about it. But journaling is a very good idea. And I think we could start with a simple written journal and the VAS questionnaire. VAS mean visual analog scale. So just a scale from 1 to 10, and maybe then add some functions to add some specific markers if you want to do that. It could come in a second term, second part.
Great.
I think. Yeah. But
Push lots of
I think
athletes your way.
the idea of journaling is a very good idea.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks to you. So just what about the questionnaires again?
And Medrick, do you have that link? Could you post that link that you shared at the beginning?
It's on the blog. So you go to biocoherence.net/blog and you go to all medical studies, and it's somewhere in the middle. I can post it here, but for those who look later, it's on biocoherence.net/blog.
Right. I just wanted to add, and too, Jason, yeah, we didn't finish our conversation yesterday, but you had that link. He brought up a good thing. What is that thing called again?
Oh, so what I was telling TJ is that I use a grip dynamometer. It's just it's this. All right. And what I can do is I can just squeeze it, see how strong my grip is today. Let's see how it is. But basically, this gives me an objective measurement. I use a lot of, so the difference between a voluntary, right? This is voluntary. I have to solicit this and then see what the result is. Nice, 106. I'm feeling good today. But I do that on the left and right side. And then basically I was telling TJ that I always do at least that and heart rate. Heart rate is an autonomic function of our nervous system. This is what a lot of BioCoherence is assessing, right? Autonomic functions. So if we can do things basically, I think what TJ's wanting me to say is that I assess this and I do a scan and then I'll play frequencies and then I reassess, right?
Yeah.
I see what the result is from the scan. I'll
funny because
rescan after the frequencies, and then I'll also do this to see if I get improvements, and I get improvements from sound all the time. And if you show people that they are stronger, because one, I can see it on this number and I can correlate some information from BioCoherence, and I can also tell that I feel stronger. And you can demonstrate these results in real time right after doing something. And I'll tell you, the buy-in is pretty significant.
I know exactly how to do it in the journaling, because this is an idea I have since a few years to create a journaling app. And you would just have to declare a new variable, for instance, the name of your thing, and then you would just have to enter the value, and you would have a curve with the different values that you enter. So it could be easily integrated into a journaling system.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my point. It was to have these measures, because I've done that with the muscle test, but with this, people can't deny like the strength thing rather than feel it in their body. So I think that would
But this as well, right?
Yeah.
If you assess strength or balance or something after you place frequencies for people, you should see an immediate change in their nervous system function. You just have to know the things to look for. We don't have to wait 21 days to see if there's a result. If you teach people to show themselves, to reassess after they play sound, you can reassess range of motion, right? You can reassess vision. You can reassess balance.
That could easily come into a journaling system, and as soon as we have numbers to enter, we can draw a nice curve,
That's
Jason,
fantastic.
can you name it? How do you call that thing? Can you show it again?
Yes, this is I get this on Amazon. It's just called a dynamometer.
Dynamometer?
Yep.
Okay, I like that.
Yep. It's great, and it gives you a lot of impetus to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Now there's one caveat to this. We call it the Goldilocks effect. Your nervous system is just assessing what it feels threatened by or what it feels novelty to. So, if you're doing good things for yourself, you'll get good results. If it wasn't interesting to your nervous system, nothing will happen. But it doesn't mean that your tool isn't effective or important. It might just not be novel enough for the nervous system to make a change. And then obviously there are times when it's threatening. So you might have a reduction in your strength. Those things are not anything to let anybody shy away from. Those are the things that we want to know are happening, so we can figure out where we can go and then reduce threat in that area of the nervous system more.
Well, actually, do you know what? Actually, on that note of talking about instant feedback, my mother had been struggling with back pain for close to a year, like really, really bad, deep, like to the point where she wasn't able to get out of bed some
Yep.
days with the pain. She went to see every specialist. She went and had every scan and everything that could be done from a mainstream perspective was
Mhm.
done, and basically everything failed her. And in fact, at the end of all of these processes, it just basically resulted in her taking maybe 5 times more tablets to
Yep.
basically deal with the symptoms of the pain. So after many, many, many months of trying to convince her to try listening to some sound frequencies, my mum, like a lot of people who, who are very, very new to this, think that we're all crazy. So she would say, "Oh yeah, sure, sure, absolutely, we'll take a look at that at some point in the future." But she called me about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and her pain was so bad. She said, "What's this thing about sound frequencies?" So I basically went and I talked to Christine, and Christine was she was very, very gracious in that I basically went over to the house there and we sat down and Christine built a harmonic protocol for my mum. And I called up my father and I said, "Listen, you have to go get her some noise canceling headphones or just maybe a pair of headphones." He said, "Well, we don't have any of them because they don't believe in headphones either. They just believe in the TV and that's it. So basically, because there were no headphones available, basically my dad pressed play on the harmonic boost just beside my mom's bed. And within maybe 30 minutes of this, my mum called me on FaceTime, and I hadn't seen her looking so clear and so relieved and so pain-free and so happy and just so back to her normal self after 30 minutes. She said
Yep.
her pain went from maybe 90% down to 10%. She said that she's actually trying to find the pain now. She was actually going, like, now I can do all this. And basically, when I do all this, I basically can't move, but it completely worked for her.
Yep.
Within the first maybe 5, 10 minutes of listening to the frequencies, which was absolutely incredible. Like, I believe in this. I have been a fan of this world for most of my life, but to see somebody with absolutely no respect for this, with absolutely no
Yep.
understanding, to just basically listen. You don't even have to listen to the spoken word guided meditation
Yep.
because my mum would be averse to that because she doesn't like to be told what to do, especially by an AI voice. So, at best, just basically listen to this frequency. And it fixed her. And I know that and I know we had the same type of feedback from Dr. Johnny as well, having instant results. Um, so we're now seeing that there are absolutely instant results. And now when somebody has an instant result like that, it will change her whole mindset
Yep.
about,
Yep.
what else is out there? What else have I not been told about? You know?
And you said
Can
she had
I?
a very good night after that, or
Oh
something like
yeah, she slept like a baby. And in fact, actually, we should actually put out our first biocoherence warning as well, based on the comments that TJ
Sleeping.
just sent us. That basically, if you listen to the frequencies to help you sleep, if you do have insomnia, just be very, very careful because you will sleep too much and you may not actually get all of your tasks done the next day because you're going to sleep a lot more. So just
Yeah,
basically
right.
use extreme caution when listening to the sleeping frequencies.
Yeah, if I could fin finish what two things here. Well, first with the study, uh, growing up with my dad in sports in the 80s, they had these studies on free throws, particularly that he would do, where they had groups shooting actual free throws, practicing, and then people pretending to shoot free throws, and then people not doing it at all. And the people that actually just visualized did better than the ones that were actually practicing. And part of that is that you're making everyone.
that.
So that gets into like a lot of the stuff that we're watching with the movies where the brain doesn't see like what's not real or real. The subconscious thinks everything's happening when you're watching a scary movie that's adding stress. So I think that's a good thing to go with the meditations. The other thing, I was working with a medical radiesthesia person, and she was testing. So I'm wondering if we have like live tests, because she was trying to test as she was going through the frequencies, and there was like a lot of up and downs. I've only tested like before and after to see the difference. And the way that I saw it, because her tests were all over the place, that it was like moving some stuff through chaos or detox. So I don't know that anyone would test strong on like a detox for them. So I'm wondering if you guys had any feedback or anything like that. Like I was trying to address that with my opinion. You know, it's kind of like if you're destructuring and then restructuring, you probably don't want to be testing in the middle of things and wait until it's done, that it all shakes out.
Do this in the middle.
Yeah,
do
you
this
following
in the
what I'm saying
middle.
on that?
Do these kinds of things in the middle. Do things that they can actually apply an action to themselves while the sound is happening.
Yeah, she was testing during all that, and then she only made it a third of the way through, because she's like, oh, now I'm strong, now I'm not, now it's like back and forth. And I mean, I get why that's not like
Don't forget the observer. Don't forget the effect of the observer, right?
Right.
And also what you are saying is maybe too much information is, is just too much. So
too much stimulus at the same time.
Yeah. So you just have to. That's why we decide what is your focus for the next 3 weeks, and just work on it on 3 weeks and do an assessment at the end. Because if you try to move everything in the middle and measure everything, etc., you might be too confused. You have to keep things simple. You have to keep
right. So
keep
I mean, would
one.
you say that when you get in the frequencies, there's like an ebb and flow maybe of discomfort to get comfort? Is there somewhere to I guess looking for something or some feedback and how to explain that to people? Kind of like
living systems are always adapting to change, and if you want to stimulate something to move, you have to make things change. There is also the concept of you are in a stable equilibrium in a wrong place, and you want to go in a stable equilibrium in the right place. And for that, you have to shake the boat, somehow.
You're seeing the effects of the causal chain. That's really what you're seeing. When you look at the causal chain and you bring up all of it, just, for whatever you're clicked on, stress, heart, whatever. Okay, so then you see that screen. So you've got the biomarker in the center, right? And then when you do best helpers, okay, so then it brings up, these are stronger, better help, but it's also the resources. So when you're moving something, what I want to bring up is using I can see clear. My body has become accustomed to that tone, and it's not beneficial anymore.
Yep.
So obviously I need to look at that and then do my scan and evaluate that through the causal chain to see somewhere in there, progress or whatever. But to me, I think that's what's going on when you're doing a live test.
Sorry.
Well, because if anything in here changes, it might be nice to have that categorized, right? Instead of just a progress bar, right? Because now I've got to go look in and see, okay, so this individual biomarker, it either lessened the chaotic or strain. In other words, the pedal is now in a different position. But, do I remember that? Because right here, you're looking at what, 30, 20 to 30 biomarkers, right? And some of them are so close together. Some of them even go off the screen, at least on my PC version.
Yeah, I have to fix that. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess what I'm asking, though,
I have to do something like sorry, TJ, I have to do something like Google Maps. When everything is tied together, you just go on it and it shows the area, and it will be clearer.
Yeah. I guess I was just looking at a way of explaining this to people that are receiving that so they're comfortable with that. I understand what you guys are saying for sure, but
I
looking
think the
forward,
best idea, and maybe this is something I should put in the book, is
right.
you have two zones like that, and you are stuck in the bottom of the bad zone. And I think this is in Christian's book. And you have to climb up the mountain and
Yeah.
go up to the good zone, you know. And to climb up the mountain, you cannot just push like that. You have to take some resonance. And with the resonance, with each push, you will go over the mountain, and then you will go into the new stable place, which is a better place. So in a sense, you have to shake a little bit the system to make it move.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there an easy way? Do we have something to like share with people for that, to explain that?
I think Christian's book would be perfect for that, and it will be in English as soon as we finish the English version in a few days, I hope.
I also want to bring up something else for behavioral health, like with Jason, and he may have something, but you know, I think that because behavioral health is, I mean, this is a very subjective thing. How you can't squeeze something, or maybe you can. I mean, I shouldn't close off anything, but you can't squeeze something for behavioral health, right?
Yes,
But
you can.
we do.
Yes, you can.
Okay,
Absolutely
well,
can. Because
okay.
if you improve one aspect of the nervous system, you improve all aspects of the nervous system. Structure and energy are interdependent at every level. This is how you can tell the things that you are doing. If we have a positive conversation and at first you assess your strength before and you come in and you're feeling crappy and you're like, yeah, my strength's really down, especially on my right side for some reason. And my right side is my strong hand. And then we have a good conversation and then I retest. How much more is that person going to be convinced and feel the effect of whatever input that you've delivered?
Well,
So on mental health, and guys, we constantly separate these things out. You can't separate the body from participating in mental health. So the more you include the body in doing things like you were talking about, you've lost the effect of that particular frequency. It's because it's not novel. Your brain has already learned it.
Exactly.
It's not novel enough anymore. So you know what? If you picked up a weight and you held a weight and drove some more activity in other aspects of your system at the same time you were doing that, and you go back and assess, I guarantee you're probably going to see an increase in whatever you're looking at. And on that note, if I can go back to what Steven said, guys, the way that I would explain what you just mentioned, and this would go for a mental health just as much as a back pain, is the pathway. If we have sound going in the ear, the auditory nerve is the same as the vestibular nerve, and we have what's called the vestibulospinal tract. Okay, if these systems are not getting enough information, enough impetus to drive them to activity, then basically the brain starts to restrict our activities, primarily because it's concerned about us falling down. When you put sound in your mom's ear and it activated the ear, it also activated that vestibular system to function a little better. And lo and behold, I can move around without pain, and pain doesn't have to correlate with tissue damage because it comes from the brain. We don't feel pain in the body, and the brain determines whether or not the pain or the damage to the tissue warrants feeling pain at that time or not. If you've been shot in a gunfight, it's not time to keel over in pain. You need to get out of there. In military situations and tactical situations, a lot of times people are shot and they have to go in and do a pat down and have somebody look them over and make sure there's nothing they're missing. So pain is an interpretation of how the brain feels about the situation. And that vestibular spinal tract is one of the main things that we're affecting with sound that will change how people are feeling. And if you improve function in the vestibular system, you're definitely going to improve mental health function. Again, if you're really good at pain, you know how your brain's going to put brakes on because it's afraid it can't tell where you are because your vestibular system is not functioning well. It'll put those brakes on by making you depressed or causing you anxiety or just taking away your focus or making you really tired. All these things are outputs. So hopefully that might be something that we can explain, that there's a correlation between what we hear and our balance. And when our balance feels better, lots of things improve.
Well,
What
okay,
I
so
what I
it's
can I,
beliefs. I want to finish that statement, Jeff. Thank you. So it is beliefs, and I really am looking at something. I thank you, Jason, for that. And it is behavioral health, and it could be, now that you've said sound and vestibular, because uh, I I I'm listening to them when I'm at my desk on my headphones plugged in. But at night, when I run the program, it's through the plasma. So I can hear some sounds because the plasma still, the frequencies that are higher, I can hear that. Uh, but for the most part, I'm not hearing anything as I go off to sleep. But while I'm sleeping, the plasma is in a loop, right? Because I'm listening to that. So my body, since I do it that way, may have just become accustomed to more than one venue. But really what I'm trying to get at is, uh, could like with the journaling process, could it be parsed by AI to add markers or subtract markers? Or, I mean, I know you've got all those meditations, but now when we're journaling, we are putting in specific responses. And maybe I'm not smart enough to use the live test because I can't seem to aggregate an analysis, right? I know I've got at least 4 or 5 separate scans on this, but it only shows me the most current one, and I can't go back. It doesn't even show the parts.
But I think it's if we do this journalism function, it could absolutely be fed to the AI helpers so that they could interact with it and give some conclusions, of course. Yes.
Okay.
That would be very interesting. Let me just jump to some other things I wanted to show you because it's already 7 minutes before the end and the extension and the additional time. Just one quick thing. I know some of you had problems with the different players, so the harmonic boost player or the personal guide player. So I really banged my head to make it work smoothly now in the latest version. So you will see in the latest version that the player at the bottom of the harmonic boost has changed. So this one is the real-time player. So you just click on it and you will see the different animations. And by the way, it should now move automatically. Yes, like that, which is nicer. So this one is the real time. For some of you, the real time does cranky sounds because the computer is not powerful enough to make the real time sounds. In that case, you can just generate the MP3 here, and you will get your collection of MP3s that are ready to play. So if I want to play this one, I can just click on it, and now it will play directly in the app. So you don't have to export the MP3. You can just generate it and play it here. And when you play it here, it will play on loop. So it will play forever until you stop it. And it will follow you. If you go away, you will have the harmonic boost player that will stay on every page. So you can just browse what you want and control it from here. Okay. And if you want to go back to harmonic boost, you just click here. You can also skip some parts, pause it. You can now pause it and play it again. And if you need to export another flavor, so the different flavors here are the complete program, only the programs where you have added some protocols, only the programs related to energy, to body and mind, or to influences. And for instance, this one does not have the MP3, so you just have to click on it. And at that point, it will generate the MP3 for you. And as soon as it is ready, you can play it on loop and do something else. So you will always have the real-time one, but for some computers, it doesn't work properly. And in that case, you just generate it, you wait a few seconds, and you can just play it from the MP3. It means it's also linked to the system MP3 player on your phone, so you can switch off the screen and just use the system control from the phone if you want to. So it's much more efficient on any system. And we have also made some improvements to the personal guide because there were different problems on different platforms. So it was a kind of nightmare, but now it should be very nice. The transitions between the different items are smoother. We have added one intro meditation for the very first time you play the meditations on your device that explains in 2 minutes what you can do with the player and how you should handle the guided meditations. And the player has been generally enhanced. So I hope all the player problems that some of you experienced with the former versions are a thing of the past. And I hope you will not send
the most
another
part,
tickets to say that
Frederick,
it's not happening. Yes, TJ.
if we had an outro, that would be good. That you know that it's ended, it just doesn't cut off. We kind of talked about that
Okay.
a little bit yesterday.
We have two ways of finishing. One is awake and one is asleep. And the one
Well, I'm talking about the boost.
I know. Just to say that the one to sleep has been greatly enhanced. So if you want to try the meditation and end with sleep, it will now end with 90 seconds of a very, very, very slow fade of the noise, so that it doesn't make a brutal stop. For the awake, maybe yes, we could add also an outro. Why not?
Well, I mean for the boost.
For the boost.
Yeah, that it plays through when you're doing the harmonic boost or the.
Yes. So what's the problem with the end of the boost?
What just said it cuts off real quick.
It doesn't. It should normally fade out nicely. Okay, so
I've had mine.
Nice to have an outro like it's done.
Mine today. Mine finished off well. Kind of going out with the sound. It finished the commentary and then let the sound kind of fade out and then it stopped. But I've had a number of times that it just dropped.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but that seems to be not a problem as of this morning.
Okay, so maybe you already had some of the update if you updated on the beta.
I did update this morning.
Yeah. Okay, so you already have the new player. Yeah. So the new player should be smoother at the end. But TJ, if you are speaking about the harmonic boost only, the harmonic boost should end in the last one should just fade out. So I will check anyway.
Yeah, what I'm saying on the fade out, just how the meditation has something like you're done. I'm just saying it's like abrupt. It would be nice just to be like, well, what I was saying with Steven, if there was like kind of like a sound brand, like TikTok or something that goes like when it's done.
Yes, because we have this intro sound, so we could add an outro sound. Yes.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Just record TJ doing that sound. Can we just record TJ doing that?
It's perfect.
Well, what if at the end of the harmonic boost, what if it's a frequency that you can't hear? Like you're going in gamma or theta or theta or alpha, you can't hear that. You can't hear that. I mean, even if it's taking that, whatever was played last and, slowly, not destabilizing, but, just slowly going down in volume. But if there's nothing that you can hear, I mean, it may still be decreasing the amplitude of whatever frequency it's playing, but
which should be the case. So it should be the case in the new player. So just try the new version and see if it's smoother.
Okay. Frederick, can you highlight when it's best to use harmonic boost as opposed to personal guide? I'm a little confused when to use which.
You can launch harmonic boost anytime in the day. Anytime when you really feel that you need a little boost. That's why we called it like that. For the personal guide, of course, it's more like an inner journey. So you have to find a time when you have half an hour or 1 hour before you, and you want a calm time to just work on yourself. For the harmonic boost, you could I mean, you can play it and just do anything you wanted to do, and cooking or working or anything, or driving. Maybe not driving, TJ, if you are into sleep
Yeah.
programs. But you can do anything while you are doing the real-time boost, of course, the harmonic boost.
Is there any overlap in the frequencies? Are they the same frequencies, or they're just completely different set of frequencies?
So for one specific record, so one specific set of priorities, the frequencies in the harmonic boost will be the same than the frequencies in the personal guide, but the harmonic boost will play every priority, whereas the personal guide will only play one priority per section every day. So if you play the harmonic
Okay.
boost, it will play all of your priorities in a row. When the personal guide is more designed for a several days journey.
I find that when I play the harmonic boost and I'm quiet, I can almost feel like I feel where it's vibrating in my body.
Yeah.
Like I can.
It just different
It's very
way.
powerful.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's just different ways for you to process the information. Some people want to be guided with words so that they can properly visualize, and the common experience we have is that with the guided meditations, people can very accurately visualize the inner workings of their body and interact with it. And the simple fact of reconnecting with his body is already something that not a lot of people are doing right now.
Right.
So this inner reconnection is already a big step forward. And for that, most people need to be guided, and that's why we are doing it with voice. But if you just get the frequencies and you get a quiet place and you just listen to the frequencies, you will feel the different parts of your body
Yeah,
reacting
do.
to these frequencies.
It's
And
amazing.
with a little bit of training and experience, you can almost say you can almost guess what part of your priorities are currently playing because you feel them resonate within you.
Yeah, that's what I was experiencing.
Yeah,
That's right.
sure.
Very good. Thank you.
Kat, you said that you had a testimonial for us, so we are curious.
I do. It's been about a month ago that I had my right kneecap kept going out of place. And I have a lot of tools in my toolbox, but I'm not one to rush to fix something. So I just was like really curious about, what's this? Because it had never happened before. And just to see, what was going to happen. Well, over like the course of several days or a week or maybe even 2 weeks, it just got worse and worse and worse. And so it was dislocating multiple times a day. And then it got to the point where it was dislocating multiple times an hour. And even if I was in bed and like laying on my side and I would draw my knees up, it would dislocate. And so finally I was like, okay, I've had it with this. That's enough. And so I thought I'm going to give BioCoherence a little test. And so I did a scan and I quickly like went through my priorities. And I think it wasn't actually one of my priorities, but maybe I don't exactly recall because I didn't expect what happened to happen. But I think it was even like a subcategory that I found something like, totally obvious on a physical level. I think it was joints and tendons because I had this idea that it was actually this perception, it was actually something pulling it out of place.
Mhm.
And so anyway, I listened to the frequency just for that, the harmonic boost just for that one time, for what, a few seconds. And it's now been a month and my kneecap has not gone out of place, not one time.
Yes.
hope we're gathering these testimonials. Like, we can't just be like having miracles and we're just like normalizing. Let's not normalize what I'm gonna call miracles. I don't know about you lot, because I like using big words and stuff, but I'm just gonna call it a miracle.
So
Where are we gathering these miracles?
Right now we are in a period where we can just call that anecdotal evidence, and testimonies. But nonetheless, it's testimonies that gives us a lot of strength to push this adventure further. So thank you for sharing that, because I'm not the
Yeah,
only
I'll
one
call that.
creating this story.
I'll call that brainstem.
What?
I'll call that brainstem. So auditory vestibular nerve to the brainstem. Brainstem is responsible for controlling the autonomic tone throughout the body. If it's not functioning well, you're going to have either lots of tension or laxity. And you just, there again, you fire some good electricity, good signal through those aspects of our anatomy and turn them on again. And then lo and behold, you got functional improvement that lasts.
But Kat, how long did you listen to the frequencies, to the harmonic boost? Kat, you don't have your yes.
Yeah, just one time.
Keep doing it.
Just for just a few seconds.
What frequency was it?
It's amazing.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Like I said, I didn't expect this result necessarily, and so I wasn't really writing down, what all, where I found it, and and any details about it. But it's been so spectacular that I probably should go back and try to figure that out at this point.
Okay, so you probably played
plasticity.
So you probably had something like, as you said, joints or something like that in your priorities, and you just done it. Yeah.
I think, I think I just found it. It just said joints and tendons.
Yeah.
I've your brain to do it again and again. If you make the brain fire the signal again and again, then eventually we create new nerves. Right?
No, but what happens is that she just plays the frequencies for a few seconds, and 1 month after, she doesn't have the thing that was bothering her every time, every hour. It's amazing.
Sounds like a miracle to me.
I think it's a lot like
anecdotal miracle.
when you see those,
I'll take it.
When you see those things happen, my knee has been out since Christmas, a torn meniscus type thing. So that kind of pain she's talking about is what I had. And I found running the frequencies, all that stuff came up, and I was actually getting worse, not better. So it's interesting. And then when I went and I tapped on my knee in the map, it showed the brainstem, like Jason said. And so I was onto something there. And so I was going to go back and I was just running the harmonic boost. So I think what I need to do is put that into my meditation program on top of it. So I'm running it more than on a thing, because it's break the pattern, but it comes off. A lot of those things come off like onion skins. Exactly. And I always compared this when I explained how frequencies work as like pistons on a car. And when you're in pain, you got a piston stuck up here. And when you give it the right frequency, it starts nugging down here. And sometimes it's kind of painful to break that pattern. And I think that's what I've been going through. It's trying to get that pattern to break up. And when you find the right thing, then you get the wave, you get the nice little flow of everything going again.
I have the same thing going on. My right side, like last week was so painful last week. And now this week it's my left shoulder, but my right is like, it was super weak. Now it's super strong. And now my left shoulder is going in and out of this pain frequency. Like Jason was saying, like it's there sometimes and then it keeps coming in and out. But I feel like I'm way more structurally sound than I ever have been before. So I think sometimes you do have to go into the really strong pain. And then like a puzzle piece, you get that other puzzle piece in, and then everything starts to.
Usually, when things are getting worse at the beginning of some therapy session like that, it's linked to detox effects, and you could have toxins that are stuck in your knee, for instance, since 40 years, and you start healing your knee, and the toxins go out, and you can feel it painfully, and it can lead to gastrointestinal problems, or to running noses, or to fever, or to pain. And it's actually a healing sign, but it's a healing sign that suspiciously looks like a bad effect. So you have to know about detox effects, and you have to tell your clients, and you have to master it also, because having too strong detox effects is not seen as a positive effect by most people, unless you are really keen into detox effects. If you start a first session with someone and you do a strong detox effect, and he calls you and he says, "Oh, I've had a terrible gastrointestinal problem since 3 days, and I saw you," and you tell him, "Oh, it's normal. It's because you are just kicking out all the toxins that you have in your system." But meanwhile, it's not a very desirable effect. So sometimes it's good to not rush too quick into healing, because detox effects could really be painful.
I kept getting amino acids, so that I was low on them, so I started eating chia seeds and the hemp seeds too. And that's when all of this started. So perhaps that's what's kicking it in. Oh, Jason, you got the answer. I know.
Brainstem's responsible for inhibiting pain, so I'll just leave that there. And the seeds are a whole nother conversation I'd be happy to have. But I would just think about there again, dosing of things, because again, sometimes things are threatening when you start to get them to improve, and you might just need to give them, give it a little more easy, or you might need to give it a little more push. So I would just say, whenever I see a not the response that I want, or negative response, it still is a really beneficial, important thing to be able to find, because then you can go, well, this shouldn't bother you, right? You shouldn't be having this pain, or you shouldn't be having this movement problem. And if we find where there's a little bit of threat, we can work on that threat. So, and all those things are tied together. So yes, great comments. Thanks, Medrick, for your information too.
Okay, Stephen, we have to put a big clock and to say, okay, we are already 13 minutes over time.
Unless there are any more miracles to be reported.
I just want to finish, and maybe you want to tell about it, but we just launched a promotion, and maybe we should tell about it.
Yeah. So basically, for the month of March and April, there is 15% off any orders placed either directly as a user or as a distributor of your final price after your discounting. So it is a significant discount to mark the 1-year anniversary of BioCoherence. So it's been a year. And if you buy a stock of licenses, you basically won't start using those licenses until the actual customer starts to actually scan with the sensor. So you can buy a stock now at that fantastic discounted price. Or if you're an end user of the technology, you can go now and avail of that amazing discount as well. So, and it's all done automatically at time of checkout, and it's all done automatically when you place an order with us as a distributor or as a partner. And also the affiliate program is going very, very well, in that you can basically generate affiliate codes directly from your account on the website and basically send them out to people. And when those codes get used, the incentive for the person to use the code that you give them is that they get a number of perks to actually use the code that you send them. So there is a massive incentive for them. And then when that person places an order, whether it's a monthly, a yearly, or lifetime order, you will be paid your affiliate code or your affiliate percentage on that as well. And also, with the 15% reduction, that will apply indefinitely. So it's not just going to be for the month of March and April. Like if you're paying monthly or if you're paying annually, it will basically stay as long as it's placed in the month of March and April. So it's a very, very good deal that Medrick has decided to give to everybody. So Thanks, Medrick.
And just a detail, it must be ordered on our website for the subscription, not on the App Store or the Play Store.
Yeah. You have to come straight to us to get it.
Okay, I stop the recording. So please, if you have another amazing testimonial, keep it for next time.
Yeah.